Welcome to Poetry Pod Central. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Opening lines and already something inside you has shifted. Already your spine is a little straighter. Already something in you wants to fight. Dylan Thomas wrote these lines in 1947. He was 33 years old, living in poverty with his wife and newborn daughter, working himself to exhaustion, writing BBC radio broadcasts to keep his family alive. And somewhere in the middle of all of that, he sat down and wrote 19 lines that changed how human beings talk about death forever. Dylan Thomas was born on the 27th of October 1914 in Swansea, South Wales. His father was a grammar school English literature teacher who shared a library with his son and gave Dylan his love of language before anyone else did. Thomas left school at 16. By the time he was 20, he had written more than half of his collected poems, but fame in poetry rarely pays the rent. By the mid-1940s, Thomas and his family were living in barely survivable poverty. He wrote over 100 BBC radio broadcasts just to keep them alive. It was at the height of this exhaustion, financially desperate, his father slowly dying, that Thomas wrote "Do Not Go Gentle into That Good Night" in Florence, Italy, the city where art had always refused to surrender to darkness. The perfect place to write a poem about refusing to die quietly. Do Not Go Gentle. Into That Good Night is a villanelle. A 19-line poem of extraordinary technical difficulty built around just 2 rhymes and 2 repeating refrains that return again and again throughout the poem like a heartbeat that refuses to stop. Think about what it means to choose this form for a poem about death. The villanelle goes in circles. It keeps coming back. It refuses to end. The form itself is fighting against conclusion. The form itself is raging against the dying of the light. Dylan Thomas did not just write about defiance, he built defiance into the very bones of the poem's structure. The poem gives us 4 types of men. The wise men who never said the lightning thing. The good men whose deeds were too small. The wild men who grieved time passing without knowing it, and the grave men who gave up on joy only to discover at the very last moment that joy was possible all along. 4 different lives. One answer: rage. Thomas was not writing about how to die, he was writing about how to live. And then comes the final stanza. And everything changes. For the entire poem, Thomas has been speaking universally about all men, about all of humanity. And then, in the final 4 lines, he turns and speaks directly to one man. And you, my father, there on the sad height. Curse, bless me now with your fierce tears, I pray. Do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Thomas wrote this poem in 1947. His father did not die until 1952, 5 years later. He was not writing about a death that had happened. He was writing to a man who was still alive, writing in furious, grief-stricken anticipation of losing the person who had made him who he was. Curse, bless me now with your fierce tears, I pray. Curse me. Bless me. Both. Just feel something. Just rage. Just do not go gently away from me. One of the most devastating lines a son has ever written to a father in all of literary history. Dylan Thomas died on the 9th of November 1953 in New York City. He was 39 years old. The man who had written about raging against death died in an American hospital just over a year after his father. But the poem never died with him. Do not go. Gentle Into That Good Night is now read at 2 out of every 3 funerals. The Beatles drew Thomas's likeness onto the cover of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, and Christopher Nolan placed the poem at the very center of his film Interstellar as humanity itself raged against extinction. 19 lines, one furious, magnificent, undefeated refusal to accept that darkness has the final word. That is why this poem will never stop being read. That is why, no matter when you encounter it or what you are going through, it will always make something inside you want to fight. If this video moved you, please hit the like button and subscribe to Poetry Pod Central. This is episode 5 of the greatest poems ever written. Hit the bell icon so you never miss one. We will see you in the next one.